Ever feel like life is less of a straight path and more of a chaotic group chat where everyone's shouting directions? One minute you're following your passion, the next you are knee-deep in expectations, performance pressure, and a never-ending supply of unsolicited advice from people who still can't figure out how to mute their Zoom mic. If that resonates, you're not alone, and neither is Lady Gaga. That's right, Mother Monster herself has danced through the highs of fame and slobbed through the lows of pain, identity crisis, and reinvention. But the core of her story, it's not just about music, fashion, or fame. It's about something deeper, the timeless pursuit of staying true to who you are. Behind the mask of fame, who is Gaga, really? Before she was Lady Gaga, the walking art exhibit, the voice behind Shallow, the meat dress-wearing cultural juggernaut, she was Stefani Joanne Angelina Germanotta, a regular girl from New York who learned piano at 4. Yeah, 4. Meanwhile, some of us still can't play chopsticks correctly, and by 14, was performing at open mic nights like it was her destiny. She briefly attended New York University's prestigious Tisch School of the Arts, which sounds like a dream until she dropped out to blaze her own musical path. That decision did not come with immediate applause and confetti. She was rejected by several record labels, criticized for her looks, and told she was not marketable, which, if you have seen her career since, is possibly the funniest sentence ever uttered in the music industry. But like a true stoic warrior, she didn't fold. She did what Seneca advised centuries ago, turned hardship into fuel. In his words, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. And Gaga? She went full mental gym rat. Fame, fashion, and full-on transformation. Lady Gaga didn't just break into the music industry, she kicked down the door in 10-inch heels and a lightning bolt across her face. Her debut album, The Fame, 2008, wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon. What followed were bolder fashion choices, boundary-pushing music videos, and an unrelenting commitment to reinvention. From Born, This Way's defiant anthem for self-love, to her jazzy turns with Tony Bennett and an Oscar-winning acting role in A Star is Born, Gaga became a master of transformation. But here's the stoic twist. True reinvention, as she's come to understand, is not about becoming someone new. It's about reconnecting with the core of who you have always been. She wasn't transforming to impress anyone. She was evolving to stay true. As Seneca would say, "Throw me to the wolves, and I will return leading the pack." Gaga did not just return, she brought choreography, pain, fibromyalgia, and performing through the storm. What most fans don't see behind the spotlights and sold-out arenas is the pain, literally. Gaga suffers from fibromyalgia, a chronic condition that causes widespread pain and fatigue. Some days, she's barely able to move, let alone strut across a stage in a bedazzled bodysuit. And yet, she keeps going. Because for Gaga, creativity isn't a choice, it's a necessity. She's not making music to climb charts or collect trophies. Although, let's be honest, she's got a shelf full of them. She's doing it because it's the most honest expression of her soul. Her work isn't just performance, it's perseverance. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Gaga lives that philosophy. When pain says, "You can't," she replies, "Watch me." And then she probably adds a high note just to be dramatic. Because why not? Mayhem, not just an album, a homecoming. Lady Gaga's latest album, Mayhem, isn't just another sonic reinvention, it's a soul-level reset. This isn't about chasing trends or out-weirding her last outfit. Though let's be real, she could still show up wearing a chandelier and we'd all just nod respectfully. Mayhem is a return to basics. Not basic like pumpkin spice lattes in the fall, but basic as in raw, honest, and emotionally uncluttered. Gone are the towering wigs, fire-breathing bras, and outfits that require a physics degree to assemble. Okay, maybe just fewer of those. In their place, stripped-down songwriting, vulnerability that does not need glitter to shine, and the unmistakable energy of an artist finally exhaling after years of holding it in. You can hear it in every lyric. It's like she dusted off the old piano, poured a glass of red wine, and said, "Okay, no gimmicks, just truth and maybe one dramatic key change. It's storytelling, not spectacle. It's the sound of someone falling back in love with music, not marketing." Mayhem feels less like a rebrand and more like a reunion between Gaga and the version of herself who once played dive bars with nothing but a dream and a dangerously large iced coffee. She's not trying to impress anyone anymore. She's not reinventing herself to stay relevant. She's reintroducing herself because she never really left. She just had a few costume changes along the way. This album is not about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the most real. And yes, real Gaga might still wear 9-inch heels to walk her dog, but behind that fierce strut is a woman who's finally walking her own path. Again, no spotlight needed. Stoic lessons from Gaga's story, with bonus life advice. Let's be honest, Lady Gaga might not be the first name that pops into your head when someone mentions stoic wisdom. She's bold, theatrical, sparkly, and unpredictable, basically the polar opposite of Marcus Aurelius. But don't let the glitter fool you. Beneath all the spectacle is a journey rich in resilience, reflection, and yes, some serious philosophical depth. Gaga's story offers 4 powerful stoic lessons worth tuning into. First, return to what matters. In a world constantly throwing distractions your way, fame, followers, and yes, even gold-flaked avocado toast, it's easy to lose sight of your original purpose. But real meaning doesn't come from trends. It comes from reconnecting with your why. Whether you are an artist, a teacher, a coder, or a professional cheese sculptor, we support your journey. Your passion is still parked somewhere. Just don't forget where you left it. Second, reinvent without losing yourself. Reinvention isn't selling out, it's smart adaptation. Gaga didn't change who she was with each new album. She leveled up while staying rooted in her identity. Think of it like a software update. Gaga 1.0 was just dance, and Gaga 10.0 is mayhem, but the source code? Still the same Stefani. Third, ignore the noise. Everyone has an opinion, and not all of them deserve airtime in your head. Critics, trolls, and even well-meaning doubters will always have something to say. But as Epictetus put it, if someone speaks ill of you, reply, "You must not know me well, or you would have said worse." Gaga does not waste time defending herself. She lets her work do the talking, and it speaks volumes. Finally, turn pain into purpose. Pain is inevitable, but what you do with it is everything. Gaga lives with fibromyalgia, a chronic condition that can be physically debilitating. And yet, instead of letting it define her limits, she channels it into her art, drawing emotional depth from her struggle. As Stoicism teaches, your story becomes your strength. And Gaga proves that even from the darkest places, you can create something powerful, maybe even platinum. What's pulling you away from you? So now that we've unpacked Gaga's story, here's the mic drop moment. What about you? Have you lost touch with your purpose in the whirlwind of work, expectations, and daily chaos? Have you been sitting on a dream, waiting for permission to start? Maybe you're secretly writing a novel, practicing stand-up in your bathroom mirror, or plotting a career change so bold it scares even your cat. Whatever it is, ask yourself this: are you living for approval or for truth? Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not death a man should fear, but never beginning to live." That one hits harder than Gaga's high note in The Edge of Glory. So what are you putting off? What did you once love, but lost in the shuffle? What would it look like to return, not to some past version of yourself, but to the most authentic version of you? Gaga's journey reminds us that success is hollow if it costs you your soul, and failure is only failure if you stop trying. If Gaga's journey lit a fire in your soul, or at least made you nod dramatically, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories where philosophy meets pop, glitter meets grit, and life lessons drop like bass. Got your own comeback story or dream you're chasing? Drop it in the comments. I love hearing them. Don't just scroll, start your own mayhem. And remember, the only person you need permission from is you.